Hello, fam fam. Once upon a time, we had these cocoyam trees. Then, all of a sudden, the goats woke up one day and decided they had to go. We were hoping to find a bureau that brings you close to the cocoyam trees to show you how well they were doing before the goats suddenly decided to start eating them. It's just so mind boggling that they've lived with these cocoyam trees for months and then just decide, oh, it's time to eat this. It looks so nice. And it still beats me because if you notice, they have really fat stems and these giant leaves. So I guess that's why the goats avoided them for so long. But yeah, look at these trees. Like, they're not easy to pull apart, but somehow these goats were determined to take these down. So, in case you missed it, we have a video already up that shows you three plants our goats never used to eat that they suddenly started eating. So, if you want more details on this, please check out that video. We'll leave a link to it in the description box. Look how much of a battle these goats have to deal with to take these plants down, but they were undeterred. They continued at it until they ate up most of these plants. So we were fed up and decided to harvest the plants while we continue to think about longer term solutions to this intrusion by the goats. Can you imagine that even this kiddo wanted to have a piece of the action? So it's harvesting time. It rained a little bit the night before, so thankfully the ground was a bit wet and it was easier to take the soil apart. This is a very delicate process because it's a root plant vegetable. You do not want to bruise the cocoyams, right? They are not as fat as regular yams. They're smaller. Think of them like you would sweet potatoes. So they're around that size. What we're doing here is digging around the stub. So we've taken out the part that was left above the soil by the goats, and we're just like digging around the root area, trying to avoid the cocoyams as much as possible. And as you can see, the machete is laid flat on the floor so it does not bruise any of the cocoyams. So it's a careful, delicate act. You're checking with your hands as you continue to dig around the roots, just to make sure that you're not hurting any of the yams. So you can see that one could have been bruised if care wasn't taken. Ooh, some lizard eggs. Look at those. The white oval things are lizard eggs. So it's getting easier at this point. We're almost at the crops, and it has to be gently done from this point onwards. You can see that the cocoyams are starting to reveal themselves. There's that big bundle in the middle, and we're just taking care here not to damage the crops. Now, this is the major lift off we've been waiting for. That still looks good, and we might still put this back in the soil. So, yeah, we'll just take out the crops in it and then set it aside to be planted back in again. Still looks good. These are really small. It could be that this area of the land isn't that fertile, so not very fertile, or of course the effect of the goats troubling the plants. So one of those two reasons could be the reason why we're getting really small tubers from these plants, or at least from this side of the farm. So this is another plant. Um, just to show you, cups here seem a bit bigger, which is a good thing. I guess the soil is a bit more fertile on this side, so this particular plant was not really affected. So we harvested about 3 plants on one side of the farm on this day, and this is what we got. Pretty decent, right? We still have this section of the cocoyam plantation that hasn't been harvested. So if you see the markings, there are 2 on this side and another one on this other side. We'll get to them in a day or two. So, welcome to another day of harvesting work. You'll notice that we have harvested the plant on the right side I was showing you earlier, and we got some decent amount of crops from it. Now we're going to be tackling these 2 on the left side. It's been a few days since we harvested the first batch. Since then, we've done some weeding on the farm, so it looks a lot tidier and it just makes it nicer to harvest in a clean environment. The yams on this side seem a lot healthier. Ooh, that's a big piece. Just moving us closer here. Look at that. That looks big and really healthy. I guess we can say that the soil is a bit more fertile on this side. Look at those big cocoyams. and this is about the biggest stub we have. I guess the goats didn't have it easy taking this one down. It seems really difficult. Do you notice the liquid coming out of the plants? I thought that was interesting. And it also has some really fat yams, which is good. Anyway, like you probably expected, we boiled some of the cocoa yams, and the goats are gonna have some. They're getting the peels from these boiled cocoa yams. Remember that this is a no waste zone, so we make sure the goats can eat most of our food waste. By the way, cocoa yams are also called taro, and they're usually recommended for patients with diabetes. I guess today is Christmas for these goats that will be having this bonus piece. Watch out for the sniff. There you go. So it sniffs it to make sure it's something it can eat before it goes ahead to gobble it down. And yeah, this is another edition of Family Feud. So the kid is starting to get wind. It's about a month old here. That is 4 weeks. So we've started to introduce foods like this that it can eat, and it's doing a good job of eating them. In fact, it's a constant hustle for food these days. And Mama does not care. She wants to eat everything. If you give her everything and give this kid nothing, she'll be fine, even though she stopped giving her breast milk. It's not a hard stop yet, but she mostly refuses the kid breast milk. I would say the big difference here is compared to actually fighting other goats with its horns. For the kid, she does not actively fight the kid when the kid is trying to eat, right? If it were other goats in this scenario, she would probably attack them with her horns. But for the kid, she's actually letting her eat, even though also hustling for a share. And this me just checking the kiddo's teeth. The teeth are growing fast. In case you missed it, check out our newborn series of videos from when this nanny gave birth to that kid, and I think you'll enjoy them. We hope you enjoyed this journey about how we were able to salvage the cocoyam situation. Do not forget the videos linked in the description for you, and also remember to subscribe so you can stay notified about upcoming videos. See ya!